Hey guys, it's Charlotte here, along with my cat, Coco. Today, I'm going to be telling you about how I was able to break free from the depression that I had had for about 20 years without using medication or professional help. Now, this is just a disclaimer. This video is by no means a substitution for things like medication or professional help. This video is simply for anybody who might not have access to those types of resources. Or maybe you do have access and are actively using those types of resources, but you just want to explore other tools that could potentially help you with your mental health journey. For me, in my instance, when I was able to break free from this cycle of depression, I didn't have therapy and I didn't have health insurance. So these were the things that I had to use in order to get me to a state of peace. This video might also be for anyone who maybe is not ready to take that step in the direction of using things like medication or seeking out professional help, or perhaps you've tried medication and for whatever reason it just doesn't work well with your body. Regardless of why you are here, I just want to let you know that this is my own personal story that I am just sharing. So maybe you're able to take something good away from this video. Also, I just want to say if you do have resources available to you, don't be afraid to use them because they can be a really wonderful thing. And today I am in therapy and I'm so grateful for the therapist that I have. Okay, so just to give you a little bit of context, I am currently 27 years old, and for as long as I could remember, I was depressed. I was always a pretty sad person. It always felt like there was a big cloud over my head. No matter what stage I was in of my life, and no matter where I was living or how successful I was in my external world, there was always this undercurrent of darkness and pain and sadness. I am 99% certain that what I experienced in my life was persistent depressive disorder. I can literally count on one hand the amount of months that I went through in my life between the ages of 5 and 25 in which I was not depressed. So, without further ado, here are the 4 things that I employed in my life that helped me break free from this depression that lasted pretty much my entire life. The first thing, and by far and away the most impactful thing that I did to help me break free from my depression, was to be open to and then be committed to undergoing a real identity shift. What I mean by this is that I was open to changing what I perceived myself to be. So, for as long as I can remember, I always thought of myself as a sad person. I thought of myself as maybe someone who was very melancholic. I thought of myself as someone who was maybe on the snarkier side. And because depression was pretty much all that I had ever experienced, I believed that depression was intrinsic to who I was. I thought that it was literally a part of me. So it wasn't until I was 25 years old when I was able to take a step back and really think to myself, okay, I see these other people in my life who are leading lives that are joyous and they seem content and they seem at peace with themselves. So why can't that be me? I thought to myself and I started to wonder, am I depressed because it's who I am? Or am I depressed because I've been carrying the weight of all of these external experiences around with me? And maybe, just maybe, my truest state underneath all of these layers is actually one of joy and peace. So instead of thinking of myself as someone who is sad and labeling myself as someone who is just depressed and dark and gloomy, I really had to be open to the idea of labeling myself with different adjectives to describe who it was that I truly was inside. So, again, number one, the most impactful thing I will say that allowed me to break free from this pervasive depression in my life was to be committed to undergoing a true identity shift. The second thing that helped me break free from this depression was journaling. I decided to make a commitment to journaling. And it's interesting because I started journaling not to try to rid myself of my depression, but rather it was to quell a lot of the sleeping issues that I was experiencing at the time. And the journaling definitely did help with my sleeping issues. So if you're having a hard time falling asleep at night, I highly recommend journaling. But journaling really took on a life of its own for me and really helped me to undergo that identity shift that I was just talking about previously, and also to break free from my depression. So, the recipe that I used for journaling was to journal twice a day, every day. And I did this for about 3 months straight. I think after those 3 months, I started journaling once per day, every day. And to this day, I still journal every single day. But yes, twice per day, every single day. I recommend journaling first thing in the morning, right after you wake up, and also journaling right before you fall asleep at night. I found that journaling was really helpful for me to process my lived experiences and also to really just take the thoughts that I had in my head and allow them to be kind of clear and crisp and really tangible right in front of me. I've always thought of journaling as like a ball of string. Imagine you have a ball of string that's just all tangled together and it's inside of your mind and it has all of these knots in it. And what journaling does, at least for me, is to take that string and it unravels it kind of seamlessly. That is the best image that I can really paint of journaling and how it's affected my thoughts. I personally would recommend journaling for a half hour in the morning and a half hour at night. But if that doesn't seem feasible to you, just start out and do 5 minutes in the morning and at night. Or if you can't do it twice a day, I would just say try to make it consistent and try to do it once a day, every day for just 5 minutes. I know that it might seem very daunting, but once you build that habit, it's kind of like a no brainer after a while, and you just automatically will find yourself journaling and it doesn't have to be hard anymore. I also found journaling to be really impactful because I feel like it allows us to leave whatever happened to you on a certain day on that day. And it gives you a reset and you don't have to bring it into the next day. You can just leave it on the pages. Ooh, I like that phrase. Leave it on the pages. Okay, so along with the identity shift, committing to consistent daily journaling was the second most impactful thing in terms of allowing myself to break free from the depression that I had always been experiencing in my life. Number three, meditating before sleeping. So, listen, I have absolutely no idea what it is about lying flat on your back exactly that makes you feel so calm and at peace, but that's just what it does. And so, for me, I would do that every single night before I would go to sleep. What I would do is I would take my pillow, I would rip it out from the bed, and I would throw it on the ground, maybe put it on a couch if you want to be more cleanly than me. And I would lie flat on my back and I would allow myself to enter this meditative state every single night as I was falling asleep, as the lights were already darkened in my room. Once I was finally lying down, I would place one hand over my heart and I would place one hand over my stomach in order to promote heart coherence, which is essentially where your mind, your nervous system, and your heart are all in alignment with each other. Then in my head, I would also repeat affirmations to myself. And if you don't know what affirmations are, they're essentially I am statements, and they're used in order to really take control of the narrative of who it is that you are. So you say things to yourself like, I am blessed, I am loved, I am happy, I am healthy, I am protected, etc., etc. So I would say affirmations to myself as I was lying down, and I would also say things that I was grateful for in my mind. When you recite things that you are grateful for, whether that be when you're writing them down, when you're saying them out loud, or when you're thinking them in your mind, it activates the reward system in your brain and it actually signals to your brain that you are feeling feelings of satisfaction and achievement. So that's just a little fun fact about how gratitude can literally help you feel more at peace. So that's number 3, meditating every night before you fall asleep, along with the hand placements and saying words of affirmation in your head, and also saying words of gratitude. The fourth and final thing that I employed in my life to help me break free from depression was EFT tapping. Now, for those of you who might not know what EFT tapping is, EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Technique. And what this is a self help practice that I believe is based in ancient Chinese medicine. And what you do is you tap on different points in your body called meridian points in order to help energy flow better and to release subconscious blocks and emotional blockages. So there are different ways in which you can do EFT tapping. You can do EFT tapping for literally only 30 seconds, or you can do it for a full hour if you want to. But what I would do personally for myself is I would do EFT tapping for maybe 1 to 5 minutes as I was falling asleep. Again, after I did all of the meditation, as I was lying on my back, I would tap on the meridian points on my body with, you're supposed to use both of your hands also. And I would say things to myself like, I am letting go of stress. I am letting go of negative energy. I am letting go of self doubt. I am letting go of pain. And then after I released it, I would say things like, I am inviting in new, fresh energy. I am inviting in love into my life. I'm inviting in peace into my life. I am inviting confidence into my life. And it doesn't have to be different emotions or different feelings. You can just focus on one really prominent overarching feeling or theme that's going on in your life that you would like to release. So, doing EFT tapping has really helped me to release those deeply rooted subconscious beliefs that I've had about myself and really deeply rooted subconscious emotions that I've experienced for a very long time. It's really good for just clearing the slate with your subconscious mind and completely rewiring how you perceive yourself and the world at large. To be quite honest, I am still a beginner when it comes to EFT tapping, so I really highly implore you to do a deep dive into the subject matter and see what you find, see what speaks to you, because it truly can be so life altering in the most magical and positive of ways. And even from my limited experience of doing that for just like 5 minutes at night, I know that it's completely helped to transform how I'm able to process my own emotions. So there you have it, my friends. Those are the 4 things that I implemented into my life that helped me to break free from the pervasive depression that I was experiencing for about 20 years of my existence. So to reiterate, number 1 was committing to undergoing an identity shift. Number 2 was journaling twice a day, every day, for at least 3 months. Or at least journaling as consistently as you're able to. Number 3 was meditating before sleep, along with doing the heart coherence position and reciting affirmations and words of gratitude in your head. And finally, number 4 was EFT tapping. So that's it, everybody. That is the recipe that I used. And it's been over a year now since I used this recipe. And this is honestly the longest that I've gone in my entire life without experiencing depression. It feels miraculous. I never thought that I would get to this state, but I am living proof that you can transform your reality. From a spiritual sense, I truly believe that joy and contentment are our truest states of being, and we have the power to access that within ourselves. We really just have to be committed and determined to unlocking the true power that we have. Also, just a reminder again, I really do hope that you use the resources that are available to you. And please always remember that you're not alone and there's no shame in reaching out for help. Okay, I love you guys. There's a better life out there waiting for you. I just know it, no matter how you get there. And thank you so much for watching this video. Please take care of yourselves. Okay, I love you.